All right, here we are. It is Friday. I just need to make it through the day, and then I'll be looking towards a pretty good weekend. I am maturing, and I've noticed that 29 has hit me harder than any really recent birthday, and I find myself becoming more and more comfortable with adult habits, adulting, if you will. I don't like it because I feel like it's the first sign of giving up on one's passions when you become acceptant of the responsibilities around you and you spend more time on those responsibilities than you do pursuing the creative things that make you who you are. I believe is when most individuals stop sticking out from the crowd and start becoming just another cog in the machine. And for the longest time, when I moved into my house initially, I resented my chores and the things that took me away from my creative endeavors. And it's a big difference to say those sorts of things rather than to say I just didn't want to do them, so I played video games and watched Netflix instead. It's not like I was not doing my chores and just being a lazy young person instead of not doing my chores. I was not doing my chores and pursuing my creative adventures instead of not doing my chores. And now, ever since the 29th, and because for several years now I had developed the pattern of rinse and repeat. Every May I would catch myself up on all my chores, and then all my chores would fall grossly behind throughout the year, and then I'd catch them back up in May. And we're now almost a whole month out of that, and I've been able to actually maintain my chores, and I've got a pretty steady pattern down in that usually Friday night when I get home, I'll run the dishes and I'll wash all the clothes that I wore that week, and then Saturday I'll do one pass of lawn mowing, and then Sunday I'll do the second pass of lawn mowing, and then my chores are done and I'm set for the week. And it has not had a huge negative impact on my creative adventures. I haven't been writing a whole bunch lately, but that's because I have been taking an intentional break. I just finished a book and I don't want to jump so suddenly into the next. And so when I consider that and some of the other things that I've got going on, it doesn't feel like these chores are really interfering with my with the time that I spend. It is interfering with other things. I tend to allow myself like an hour or so a day of Xbox time, but like Xbox time for me is strictly seen as social time, and so I am using that time to be social with my friends that I have on Xbox and hang out with them and have a good time. If they're not on, then I'm not on that platform at all. And so the interesting thing for me is that I have this allotted time, but sometimes I don't even utilize it at all. And so it's interesting for me to try and see these sorts of things and to try and get these sorts of things together. I really do quite enjoy the patterns, I guess, that I've newly developed. Like, it feels good, and this is just me becoming an adult again, but it feels good to know that I've caught up on my chores and that I am actively not behind. And it also feels good to know that I'm not creatively behind either. This week and last week, quite frankly, were a bit rough. My whole entire schedule was rocked by this thing that I was doing. And now I need to build a better team so that I don't have to do that ever again. And so what I'm doing now, today's the last day of that. And hopefully, because what's really been affected is these videos. I'm only recording the one every day on my way to work. I haven't recorded any of them on my way home. Though I did have a couple of weekends where I did really good and recorded some good content. So I can hopefully balance myself off of that. But for the time being, I'm really just looking at trying to hopefully just get through this week and then get back on with video making and going to the gym. I was doing really good about going to the gym these first 2 weeks, and then I fell off these next 2 weeks, but I think I will get back on them and we'll be able to have a better hold on things. And so that's the big gruff. I can at least recognize what's in my way, and then I need to just move it and get it out of my way. And I'm excited. Today is payday, and I've got some things brewing that I want to do something with, and so hopefully I can get those things brewing and really start cooking with all the projects that I have going on and everything that I want to do. And we'll see what shakes from there. I'm just very excited about the whole thing and really hoping that I can get somewhere good at the end of the day when it's all said and done. And so it's, like I said, it's a mixed feeling. It's weird having hit 29, and I'm not even 30 yet, but I can feel the difference in my mind and a shift in my personality. And none of these things are clinically it's not like a clinical science, like on the exact day that you turn 30, that's when your maturity will shift. But I felt the shift for a while now. We went on Christmas vacation December of 23, and I love my nieces to death, but that was the first time that we were all together for an extended period of time, and I didn't want to just get away and do my own thing, and I could appreciate my time with them on a more mature level, if you will. And I think that was really when I realized that I was ready to potentially even have children of my own. I have known for quite some time that was the next step in the journey. I was going to do surrogacy for the longest time because I'm quite convinced that I want to be a parent. I'm not so thrilled about being a husband. And so just trying to navigate what that looks like and how I do that. And honestly, these past couple of years since having moved into my house was really supposed to be saving for that. I would have not been able to get anywhere near close enough to my financial goals by the time 2025 came around, because that's when I'm looking at doing it. But I've been more seriously contemplating upon adoption now more than doing it the other way. The other way is obviously a lot more complicated and costs a lot of money, whereas adoption, they actually give you money for it. And I'm not doing it for the money, and I don't need the money, but for someone like me who has spent a large chunk of his life and time trying to be financially independent, trying to be financially stable, and building this comfort zone, if you will, it felt kind of silly to throw that all away, because like being a parent is an expensive thing. It's basically a whole nother job, and it's not one that pays you, not in the traditional sense at least. And so I have been contemplating it for a while, and I feel like it just makes sense. My biggest worry or concern at this point is the potential it has for cutting into my creative adventures. But I am a master of manipulating my time, and I think if nothing else, I'll be able to manipulate my time well enough to make that work. It was a bit disheartening. I found another animation channel on YouTube that they had like 29,000 subscribers and got a decent view count anytime they uploaded something, and they have their own Patreon page, and they only had 14 paid members on it, and that was disheartening to say the least. I'd seen, I use Joel Haver as my model citizen, if you will, and when I first joined his Patreon, he was making like $5,000 a month, and then I just recently looked again at his Patreon. Now he's making $8,000 a month, and he's making really good money. I was like, if I could find a way to replicate his success, that would be amazing. And so that's what I'm shooting for. And he does a lot of animations. I think the biggest difference is he's able to crank out quality products very frequently. And he did the thing that maybe more of us should do, which is he quit his job and quit the rat race and stopped doing life things and lived off of his savings until YouTube rewarded him for doing so. And it was a radical and potentially dangerous move, but it was one that paid off for him. And there's a lot of successful entrepreneurs, creators, whatever you want to call them, who have done a similar thing. It's like they forced themselves out of desperation to succeed. And it makes me wonder, have I backed myself into too much of a corner where I'm so comfortable with work and with life that I cannot succeed with my creative adventures because it's not a dire need? These people left their world behind and are living off of the savings that they've acquired for who knows how many years, and just hoping that something that they do picks up. And he got rewarded for it. And his success is the same kind of success that I would hope to achieve. I don't want to become wealthy beyond imagining for the work that I do, though I would like to at least be able to make a living off of it. And that is absolutely what he's doing, and he is my benchmark, so to speak. He didn't get that sort of following and attention until well after he hit 1 million subscribers. He was close to 1 million when I started following him, and then he broke into the 1 million range, and he might even be at like 5 mil now, I don't know. But he's like, it's weird that YouTube has gotten so big that like someone with 1 million subscribers could still technically be considered like a small channel. And I would say that he is a successful small channel on YouTube. He's not this giant monster of a channel who's ranking in millions upon millions of views every upload, though he is successful in his own right, and he has found his people, and his people appreciate him for who he is. And so hopefully I am on his Patreon. I need to be more active on his page, because I hope to, that's the other thing, is like I want to leverage other people to help me accomplish my fame. And I'm hoping that I can convince him to guest star in an episode of Compression Man, and I think that would be awesome, and it would do me some great things for the program and for like gaining an audience, because that's a lot of it, is if you can find someone who likes your product who already has an audience, then you can kind of feed off of their audience and turn them into your own. And so right now it's very pay to win, and that's why I can't afford to just dump my entire working existence for it, because it's not making me anything. It's just costing at every corner. And if I'm not making anything, it's just going to cost me dry, and then I'll hate myself for having spent all of my savings and not succeeded for it. So I don't foresee myself taking that jump, not anytime soon, especially as I'm actually thinking about winding down for life and starting the family and doing all of those sorts of things. It doesn't make sense to me to be like, oh, well, I should really think about jumping into a risky life decision that could cost me everything. Now, one thing that I will say, which is a different kind of mindset to have, is it does help me with, like, if I were ever fired from work, I would probably try and do that because I have a healthy savings. But right now, it's like I'm not gonna lose my job just for the sake of, oh, I'm gonna do something creative. That's very irresponsible. But it could be a key to success. It changes your mindset in such a way that it's like, hey, if you don't make this work, you have to go back to the crap that you hated. And for some it works, and for some it doesn't. And the sad reality is, for most of them, it doesn't. And I think a big portion of, like, Joel Haver versus myself, I think he was seeing success on his channel, which helped him into that decision. Whereas me, I'm not seeing any major level of success on my channel. I pay for views. That's how I get views. And then they don't really go anywhere, and the views that I get are very short. Like, they're like, oh, on average everybody watches your little thing for 30 seconds. I was like, so they get through the intro, and then they're like, yeah, no, I'm not interested. And it's just unfortunate and annoying that is what has to be. And it's like, I just gotta find my people. Because, like, Compression Man is funny and entertaining. I refuse to believe that it's not. And I just need to find the other people who agree with me and think that it's funny and entertaining. I was watching it with one of my friends, one of the few people who are, like, attached to the project on, like, a personal level. And he wasn't, like, laughing out loud at a lot of the parts, and it really kind of made me wonder. I was like, is this not funny? Am I missing something? Is he just not having a good time? I don't know. But I can't get in my head too much about these things. And we as people have a strong tendency to get in our head too much about everything. And I just need to lay low and stick to the script. And I hope that you have had a good conversation. I feel like this was a nice, solid episode. I have been on a rut here lately of just not being able to find stuff to talk about and getting in the car and just having nothing to say. But I feel like this was legit. So hopefully you enjoyed it as well. Thanks for stopping by. I'll catch you next time.